Hey folks, today we're going to talk about something that's exceptionally important for people that use shotguns or want to learn to use shotguns. Have you ever noticed or ever seen that a 20 gauge shell is yellow? The manufacturers make the plastic holes and the paper holes yellow for the 20 gauge. Have you ever wondered why that was? Well, we're fixing to show you why right now. In order to demonstrate this, we have this old W. Richards. This is old black powder only shotgun. I've taken the firing pins out of this particular shotgun because it's a black powder only shotgun. It's just dangerous to have it around. I don't want somebody to accidentally put a modern shot shell in here. So this particular shotgun cannot fire. That's why we're using it today. All right, so in order to explain this, I've got a handful of shells in my pocket here. But first, let's try to put this 10 gauge shell in this 12 gauge. It won't fit. All right. So next, and remember, you should always use the correct ammunition that your gun is marked for. All right. So next, let's try to load this 410 shell in this 12 gauge. Here we go. Comes right through. Won't stay in the shotgun. All right. Here we have a 28 gauge shell. Let's try to load it in the 12 gauge and see what happens. It won't chamber in the 12 gauge. It falls right out. So next, let's see what happens when we try to chamber 16 gauge and 12 gauge. Here we have 16 gauge right here. We'll try to chamber it. Oh, it goes in, but it goes in too far. But it doesn't go in there far enough that we can put anything behind it. The head stamp's right there, just inside the chamber. Now the 16 gauge has kind of a semi-standard color of purple. Several of the manufacturers only manufacture their 16 gauge loads in purple. All right, now here comes the meat of the discussion. The 20 gauge shell. The 20 gauge shell is always yellow. The plastic and paper shells are always yellow. And the reason for that is, let's put it in 12 gauge and see what happens. Oh, it went in there. It's down in there. I believe it's down in there far enough that we can take this here 12 gauge shell and chamber it. Let's see. Now, every muscle on my body told me not to do that because I know better. But what we have here now is we have a chambered 12 gauge shell that is in a position to fire, if this particular shotgun could fire, setting just above a 20 gauge shell. Now, if you fired this shotgun in this condition, this chamber is going to explode right in front of your face. And that's never a good thing. Now, the 20 gauge is always yellow because the 12 and 20 gauge are the most popular gauges that there are for people to use, to hunt with, to shoot with, to sport with. So now this combination of events can happen in other gauges as well. The 20 gauge, which is always yellow, it's the only shell you should ever put into a 20 gauge shotgun is a yellow shell. Unless, of course, you have brass shells or something like that, and then you need to pay attention to your head stamps. A 28 gauge will do the exact same thing in a 20 gauge that this 20 gauge just did in this 12 gauge. Just make sure that you store your ammunition separately. Store your ammunition by gauge. Keep it in the manufacturer's box. Store your 12 gauge together in the box it came in, or if you reload like I do, you put it in its own box that you reload it for that gauge. Put your 20 gauge in another box separately. Label your containers that you keep your boxes in, or put them on a shelf where you can see them. Just make sure that you keep your ammunition separate from one another. And you'll have a good day in the field or on the range. So until next time, y'all stay safe in the field, and God bless.